Hello everybody, welcome back to Sin City Living. Jason here, bringing you today's video. Guys, please email me, send me some strategies, questions, video ideas, anything you'd like to see. I've barely gotten any videos lately, and I'm digging deep for video ideas. So today I want to talk about just some things that new players coming up to the craps table need to be aware of. Some I don't want to call them rules, but guidelines, things that you should know when you come up to the craps table. Thank you, by the way, everybody, for the coffees. Really appreciate it. We're actually not buying coffee right now. I'm trying to save up. My favorite band's coming to town, so I really want to see them. So we're just saving that up. But I really appreciate everybody. Now, the very first rule is one that the dealers are going to tell you a lot if you're messing this one up. And it deals with these right here. Watch the dice. I'm not talking about as the shooter. I'm just talking about as a player. Keep your eyes on the dice. Watch the dice. Know where the dice are at all times as a player. What I mean by that is if the dice are up here in the middle of the table, make your bets. Make all your bets, talk to the dealers, figure out what you want to do. If the dice are not in the middle, if they're being moved to the shooter or they already in the shooter's hands, keep your damn hands out of the table. Don't try and make any bets. Just watch. Just watch until the dice land, our number is called, and they are back in the middle. This is the first thing that I see that really messes up a lot of new players. Not the inability to watch the dice or anything like that. The fact that craps is so different from other casino games. When you're playing blackjack, you can not pay attention. You can turn your head, you can talk to the spouse, you can talk to the cocktail waitress, you can step away from the table real quick and check that text message on your phone. Once it gets to your turn, the dealer's going to ask what you want to do. They're going to pause. They're going to pause and ask what you want to do. Or if you're in between hands, they're going to sweep the table real quick, check, notice you didn't make a bet, and ask, hey, you want to make a bet? So you don't really have to pay attention. Craps, however, moves very fast, and you have to pay attention. So number one thing, have to pay attention. Now, if you are the shooter, a couple things. First off, you'll see some people that sit there and want to sit there and roll the dice over and over again until they get whatever they want. That's fine. That's fine. If you want to throw them against the wall, you throw them backwards. Whatever direction the dice are going, like on this side of the table, the dice will be getting thrown that way. The other side of the table, they'd be getting thrown this way. So if you're on this side of the table, the dice are going that way. If you want to bounce them off the wall or you want to roll them or something, you throw them backwards. You throw them backwards. You do not throw them forwards, especially once you've got your two dice. Some people like to sit there and just keep playing with it over and over, but every so often they'll throw them forwards, and we'll tell them, don't throw them forwards. Because, guys, even though we will tell you to hit the back wall and we will take the dice away from you if you don't, this right here, technically, according to gaming rules, that right there is a roll. We could call that. We could call that number that you just rolled as you're sitting there practicing. And if you complained to gaming and they ran the cameras back, well, by the rules of craps, it had two things. It had forward motion and it had a tumble. Technically, that's a roll. Now, obviously, we're not going to call that. We're not going to call it. I've seen people do this, and we told them one time, do not do that. Next time you do that, we're taking the dice away from you. Because that's pretty egregious. So we just tell them, just go backwards, go to the wall, something like that. It's no big deal. We just warn them. We know we're not mean about it. They obviously don't know. We just warn them. Also, when you have your dice, keep your hands over the table. Don't pull your hands back behind the rail. Keep your hands inside the table at all times. Don't take the dice out of our sight. I've seen people hold the dice in their hand. Cocktail waitress comes, they just completely turn around. Now we have to tell you, put the dice back. We put the dice on the table. We bring them all the way back to the middle. The box person has to check, verify both dice because you took them out of our sight. Took them out of our sight. So that's the dice. Another thing, this one's kind of a superstition thing and sort of a kind of a courtesy thing more than anything else. Don't talk to the shooter. Don't talk to the shooter. Doesn't matter if they have the dice in their hand or not. Don't talk to the shooter. Some people really think that it's possible to get distracted because they think that that throwing dice is a skill, and they'll get really mad. And especially if the next roll afterwards happens to be a 7 when you talk to them. So don't talk to the shooter. Don't ask the shooter, hey, what's that bet you're doing right there? Or why do you do that bet right there? Or why is it that you set the dice this way? Or why that? Or how long have you been playing dice? Or should I make that same bet you're making? Just don't. Don't talk to the shooter. Don't bother the shooter. Let the shooter shoot their dice. Along those same lines, don't say the word 7. Don't say the word 7. I know you're learning the game. That's why we recommend people at least understand the basics of the game before they come up to the table, because nothing is worse than having a player standing at the table that's brand new to the table and they keep asking questions and they're super loud and they're like, they just keep throwing until they throw a 7. And everyone's like, dude, come on. Or, all my bets stay up until they throw a 7, right? Or I get paid on this, I only lose it if they throw a 7. And you just keep saying 7 over and over and over again. And the rest of the table's like, come on, man. So don't say the word 7. Don't say the word 7. Some people get really, really, really offended by that. Listen to the dealers. Listen to the dealers. Listen to the dealers for 2 reasons. One, dice is one of the most controlled games when it comes to the dealers and the floor. Now, every other game, of course, has its rules and its standards, its policies, its procedures, and if people break them, then we give them a 1 or 2 warnings, and then they are no longer allowed to play that game. Dice has a lot of things going on. So there's a lot of rules, policies, procedures. There's also a lot of unspoken rules, such as some of the ones that I already mentioned. Don't forget, by the way, everybody, Super Bowl coming up. If you want to bet on it, check down below. That online casino I found has a really good sports book. All the unspoken rules, plus then there's also rules of behavior that get broken at dice more than any other game. More than any other game, we see people with just atrocious behavior. It's an exciting game. It gets people ramped up. Additionally, the dealers, they see people playing all day, every day for years and years and years. I know people have been dealing this game for 20 years. I don't even want to think about how many hundreds of thousands of players, betting styles, betting strategies, and roles that they have seen. The dealer is going to look out for you as long as you are receptive about it. We see a lot of players that you could tell they learned some kind of goofy bet off their buddy or something. They're betting all the time. The dealer is trying to gently tell them, hey, that's a really bad bet. And I know what I'm doing. You're just you're just trying to make me lose money. Okay, they just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Let the player lose their money. That's one of the biggest fallacies, guys, that the dealers want the players to lose so that they quote unquote work for the house. Of course, they do work for the house. They get paid minimum wage. They're getting paid minimum wage. 70 to 85% of what the dealers make comes from the players, not from the casino. Obviously, the dealers want the players to win. It makes no sense otherwise. It's that whole the dealers are house dealers and they want the players to lose. They're going to tell you the wrong way to play or the worst odds or something. It's honestly one of the stupidest things we ever hear. Because again, a huge portion of what the dealers make, the primary portion of what the dealers make, comes from the players, not from the casino. Comes from the players. All right, it's just simple truth right there. So listen to the dealers. They're going to try and help you out. They'll recommend to you, hey, maybe you want to expand this out, or hey, maybe you want to start pressing 1 unit or something along those lines, or don't forget your odds, things along those lines. The dealers are there to help you. They really are. The dealers want to help you as long as you're receptive to it. They want to help you. Last rule that I will put out there. This one actually is a rule of pretty much every casino, and it's one that gets, I won't say forgotten, but one that definitely can be an issue from time to time because of the way craps is set up, where the players are right next to the dealer, especially when the dealer's on the stick over there. They got players on either side. There's a lot of incidental contact, no big deal. Bumping up against each other, brushing up against each other. It happens. Again, no big deal. If people are crowded the dealer too much, the box and warn them, hey, just give the dealer a little bit of room, because we're waving a stick around and moving our arms around. We don't want to hit somebody. Same reason we don't allow someone we don't try not to allow someone to stand directly behind us when we're on stick. I don't want to hit someone with the stick. And sometimes I got to kind of choke up my arms where the dice land and the stick pokes out behind me. I don't want to hit somebody. But the biggest thing, outside of the incidental contact, don't touch the dealers. That is a number 1 rule. That is a rule in every casino in Vegas. Obviously, incidental contact, again, no big deal. But don't touch the dealers. Don't hit the dealer on the arm to get their attention to make your bet. Don't push the dealer's hand out of the way when they're fixing your bet because you don't know how to set it or something along those lines. Don't grab the dealer's arm. Don't poke the dealer. I once had somebody put their arm around me They were excited, but you know, one, I don't like people touching me and they're not supposed to. Two, the autistic side of me definitely doesn't like being completely enclosed by 300 pounds of drunk. And three, again, it's against the rules. So we just told him, hey, don't touch me. And on that one, the player almost got kicked out because I'll do whatever I want. And luckily, the player didn't even finish her sentence, and the box told him, no, you will not. And made sure that it never happened again. Don't touch the dealers. That will actually cause a distraction more than just about anything else, because at a certain point the dealer is going to say something, and then the box is going to step in, or the floor is going to step in. So there you guys go. Some of the rules and guidelines that first-time players definitely need to know. Thank you everybody for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.